Let's be real as fuck about life, real estate, and entrepreneurship. Hi, I'm Julie Chin. You can call me Jules. The Real as Fuck brand is all about providing tools and resources to help new and struggling agents succeed. I share my personal experience not only as a new real estate agent, but also how I overcame the odds starting out as a single mom with a mountain of debt and a ton of self-doubt. Welcome to the Real as Fuck podcast. I'm your host, Julie Chin, and today I'm super excited. Topic today, first-time homebuyers. From the sense of buying as the client or customer, and what we can help you learn and navigate the process easier, as well as hopefully educating that new real estate agent and how best they can handle the process to make it easier for their first time home buyer client or customer. So today I have 4 awesome girls. And if you could just go ahead and introduce yourself, we'll start with Liv and go around the screen from there.
Hi, I'm Olivia Chin. Starting out in the home buying process, very new to it, very much learning, so I'm glad to be here to share my experience.
Uh, I'm Kobe Chin. Yeah, if you notice the last name, we are the daughters of Julie Chin.
Actually, I'm interrupting
I bought a
you. Your
house.
last name is Zimmer.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, after getting married, my husband and I, we got a house that was about a year ago, a year and a half ago. And of course, my mom was our agent, helping us every step of the way.
I'm
Mel?
Lynn. My next. um, Julie helped me buy my first home this month, 3 weeks ago. I chased my dreams of buying a place in the White Mountains, and I split my time between the Seacoast now and the White Mountains. So I love New Hampshire, and I love Julie, and she's been so great with the whole process of becoming a first-time homeowner.
Aw, thanks, Lindsay. So happy for you. And last but not least,
I'm Mallory. I just bought my first house through Julie just over a year ago. And it's been wonderful. It's been kind of a whirlwind, but it was a great experience, and we love our house.
yeah, I love that. And you guys have such a beautiful mountain view off your deck.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, love
Yeah.
that. So we can jump in, and I think let's start. What was daunting? Like, did you have any parts of the process that, well, of course, some of it's going to be stressful, but that you felt were more challenging?
I had no idea anything about anything. So Julie taught me everything from start to finish. Like I was clueless and I just kind of jumped in. Like it was an idea in my head for years and years, but I kind of just made it happen. 2024 was my year, I guess. And yeah, Julie just taught me everything. So there was a lot.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've wondered. So tonight's the night to find out, right? Uh, what research people are doing when you're just starting down that path and entertaining the idea of home ownership. So you just didn't have a clue. And Cobe, what about you?
Yeah, I'd say it was just getting in the door. Um, no pun intended, was the most daunting, part of it for me because, I loved going on Zillow, looking at different listings. I felt in control of that. Just seeing things on my own time, like going through it. but then the actual step of like setting up a time to view it, or um, you know, and all of the paperwork and inspections and everything that follows after that, um, that whole process, just kicking that off, was the most daunting to me.
I felt the same way. Like I literally like Googled how do you buy a house because I did not know where to start.
Yeah.
I didn't even know, like, do you talk to your lender first? Do you talk to the realtor first? Like, I didn't even know what the first step was. Um, but yeah, Julie, you were super helpful at just like kind of setting the guidelines for or the map, I guess, for like the steps to take in home buying for sure. So that was very helpful.
Oh, I'm really
Maybe.
glad.
At
Yeah.
any day.
What?
Like at any hour of the day, you call.
I I do try.
The whole thing was daunting. So
Yours was lightning fast, I must say.
well, it started daunting because I didn't get the place that I originally was for. Ended up somewhere else, which I'm very happy with now, but you just kind of have to trust the process, and what's meant to be will be.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Olivia, have you done any research on what to expect, or are you just happy to have mom?
Um, both. Before I was really looking, the only thing I thought of was how much I'm able to afford, which is also a
Mm,
very difficult thing to figure out. I just recently learned how a mortgage works, what a lender was. So I'm really glad I had you to show me what to do. It's just a lot of things to consider that you don't even know about, like insurance and just like figuring
mm,
out like what exactly you need to consider price
mhm.
wise and functionality.
Yeah, and all the things that get factored in because it's not just a mortgage, it's the property taxes and an HOA and the homeowner's insurance, all of those things get factored in and the reality is a lender, they're great at their job. They're going to tell you that you can afford X number of dollars a month, but any first-time homebuyers listening, I would caution you to not go with that number. That lender is not factoring in all of your expenses. They don't know that, you shop on Amazon every evening. Like you drive.
You have a cat that has anxiety and needs medicine.
Oh, there you go. So they're not factoring in what I think of as kind of the quality of life expenses that we incur. And so if we jump down the hole with their approved number, chances are you're going to be stressed out financially. And for me personally, I never, ever, ever want that for one of my clients. So I have no problem getting down into the details with someone's money because, how much do you spend at the grocery store? Do you like to eat out 7 days a week? Like, you've really got to take time to factor all that in and make sure, like, what's the bottom line? Like Olivia and I have talked about that. What's her bottom line that is her comfort number, if you will, and she would rather not go over that number. So then I like to work backwards. Now we're going to be in this particular price range of homes to make sure that by the time we add home insurance and property taxes and HOA, if there's one, that you're still within that number because then we have to potentially add sewer, water, electric, cable, Wi-Fi in our area is $90 just for Wi-Fi. Then you've got to get into your cell phone and your car insurance, and the list just goes on and on and on and on. So it's really important to take the time to put those numbers together.
And closing costs.
Oh, yeah. What are those? You're right.
Account for that, an extra 10,000, 5, 10,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Really good point. Because, like in our state, we have transfer tax, for example, and that's luckily at least split between the buyer and seller, but that's going to be different in every state. I think something, I'll ask you first. Like when you're going through homes, did you learn through your process to not just look at like the aesthetics of the home? Like maybe the first home you're walking in and, you're like, I love this, or, the paint color, the floor, or all those types of things.
I actually had the opportunity to be at the inspection for Lindsay's property, and
Oh,
I
right.
was blown away. I was like, everything looks so nice. And then they started talking about, the actual inspection stuff, and I'm like, wow, that's not anything I would have thought of. It looks good, but I mean, it is important to think about like the bones of the place and um what needs to be done, what has been done, things I wouldn't really think about because I don't know much. I don't know what that means if I was told that,
Mm-hmm.
like what's considered good or not.
Yeah, Jerry was amazing.
It was
So
great.
I love
best.
Jerry. Wait,
Yeah,
oh my
I
goodness,
use
was
Jerry too, and oh, go ahead.
did did you have Jerry,
I did, yes.
Mallory?
Yep,
And Kobe did
I
too.
did.
Yep. Hi, Jerry.
Yeah.
Love him. He's so thorough and so nice, and just has a kind of a teaching, a heart of a teacher. Um, because I knew nothing about my house, and I like that I could just call him and ask him things. He's awesome.
Yeah, I knew nothing about nothing, and you know, now in the place I'm learning more, but he helped me a lot to figure everything out. And yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, Jerry.
a
No, go
factor for
ahead.
Sorry.
place, like what's been done. Like for example, my place had like a new roof on it recently, which was amazing. Um, like big expenses like that, you know.
Yeah,
So,
you're right. You've got to ask the question. And there's a property disclosure that is to be filled out by sellers, and hopefully they fill it out accurately and honestly. But it's important to go through those documents. Don't just sign, 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 like read, ask questions. And then you'll learn a lot during the home inspection.
mhm.
Mallory, I don't remember how your home inspection was. I do
Um,
remember we had Jerry, though.
it was a little extensive. But it was it was stuff that I was willing to fix though.
Hmm.
Um, so I was, but I was glad that he was very open about things that the house needed and things that needed to be replaced, and um like I felt like he was very thorough. Um, and yeah, I was really appreciative of that. I mean, I've been in the house for a little over a year and we've tackled just about everything on that list except for my deck. I have to replace my deck still. But aside from that, I think we've tackled everything on that inspection list, but it was pretty lengthy.
Yeah, it
Um,
can definitely be overwhelming.
it can be, yeah, yeah, but it was nice to see, to just kind of get a gauge of what kind of house repairs and things we would be looking at. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah.
And how was yours, Kobe?
Would say it's as smooth as I could have hoped for. Yeah, as we mentioned, Jerry is awesome. He um, really did have a teaching mindset and would take Ben and I, you know, through through his notes and things that we should be aware of, not necessarily like dangers or issues at the moment, but like, oh, in 5 years you're gonna have to probably look at replacing this part of your roof that's over the garage, or just preemptive um, action. And I really appreciate that because I have no idea what I'm looking at. um, and so it's definitely safe for other like agents if they know they're working with a first time buyer to set them up with the most hopeful team that they can. So if you have a Jerry by your side, definitely is a good match for that first time buyer, because we learned so much from just being with him during the inspection, and then having his notes. Um,
Yeah.
And it's having the inspection, because what I didn't know is that you can recounter after the inspection. So Julie was like, "We're gonna, you know, offer whatever 2,000." We got
No,
2,000.
we're gonna ask for some money.
So I got my inspection paid for because I got $2,000 at closing because of that. So the $400, the inspection, it can feel a little painful, but it can save you money.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. And if I remember your exact words, you said, "Well, maybe we could ask for a few $100." And I
yeah,
said, "No, we'll ask for 2,000."
I was so shocked. I was really just making it happen.
All they can do is say no,
Right.
right? And then we figure out some other compromise somewhere in between. It's always worth the ask. I mean, $2,000 is a lot of money. You work a lot of hours for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I definitely try to always pay attention to my clients' money. Like, it's like when I'm on the list side, I don't drop the price of the house easily. Well, first of all, I can't do it without the owner's permission, but I'm just not that agent that's constantly going back and saying, "Okay, we haven't had any offers, that we need to drop the price again." I mean, I get the reasoning behind it. I'm not saying it's wrong, but at the end of the day, this is my client's hard-earned money. So if we're price dropping, that's less money in their pocket. So, let's wait it out and give it some time if the situation allows. Sometimes people need to sell in a hurry, and that's a different situation. It's all case by case, but I'm just very aware of everybody's money. So, try to protect that
Everyone appreciates
or
that.
get you some more.
oh yeah.
Well, I what?
every dollar counts.
Right? It really does. And I think it's important to honor that. And one thing I wanted to mention about the process for first time home buyers, because we've covered how none of us know anything in the beginning. I mean, I as an adult have purchased homes when I was married, and can tell you that I knew nothing about the process and never learned anything about the process. I just would sign where I was told to sign. Like multiple home purchases, I had no clue. So that's just not something that I am willing to let slide by now with clients, because you just really need to know what you're doing. But the process in general is your yes, watch on Zillow. That's all really fine and good. But your first real step into home ownership is talking with a lender. Now you can find that lender multiple ways. You might find a buyer agent who comes recommended, and any good agent has multiple people they can refer you to that are known and trusted to them to do a good job. There's certain big box lenders out there that um, might not be your best option. So you'll want to take the time to do that research, and trusting an agent that you're very comfortable with. Um, they can get you in that direction. So finding the lender is important because they're going to help what you can afford. But like I said, then take that number and go home and figure out how much you spend every month on all your other stuff. Home search then with an agent is a good idea. Having a buyer's agent who's there to represent your interests. The list agent is representing the seller's interests. So why wouldn't you have someone out there protecting you? Once you identify a property, you will go into the offer phase, which is some documents that you please want to read over and going through the property disclosure to see what the seller is saying about the property. Let's say your offer gets accepted, then we're going to do more paperwork with the lender. Uh, Hopefully, you're going to do a home inspection and then renegotiate if it's warranted after the home inspection. Your buyer agent will do that for you. And then in the meantime, everything's still progressing with the lender. So they'll order an appraisal, and then hopefully the property purchase can still continue forward with that. Sometimes some renegotiation has to happen at that point as well. And a walkthrough is really important 24 to 48 hours before closing so that you can make sure that the property is how you were anticipating it would be. Um, Lindsay, you can talk about your walkthrough because your dad was just on it.
Well, that's my dad for you. But we definitely, well, before that, we should say there was a roadblock with the lender. I almost didn't get the property because they were gonna raise the interest rate since it was a certain HOA, um, which would make me not qualify.
Right.
So that was a major roadblock we encountered, but we got through. So yeah, just because your offer is accepted doesn't mean you're getting. Lenders can still give you hiccups and things like that. Um, and then yeah, the walkthrough, my dad was just kind of going through it just like Jerry was, which definitely, I mean, it was great for me because I really didn't know anything about anything, and he's like showing me what the water shut off is and all the things I need to know. So, but yeah, he's a pretty by the guy.
Well, I think it was definitely really valuable. And then he was able to help you fix a bunch of things that needed to
Yeah,
be handled.
have a man with you that will walk.
Right. You guys, what do you wish you knew before about the process? Like, is there anything that would have, I don't know, sort of clarified things, made it less stressful or easier, anything of that nature?
Well, luckily I had you, because I didn't realize until we talked to the lender that you have to have like a record of your work and your payments for like the past 2 years, or having a good credit score. That kind of stuff like takes time to build. So even if you
Mm-hmm.
talk to a lender, it still could take like a year to get all that together to come back to the lender and actually be qualified.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, too.
Um, I kind of wish that I knew about like the different components of buying a house. Like, you have your lender, you have your realtor, and then you have the inspector, you have the appraisal. Um, and like I didn't know any of that. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we'd like hit one milestone and then I'm like, okay, what's next? And I just had no idea like what we were in for. And you were great at kind of telling me what was going to come next. But it was just that anticipation and not knowing if the next step was going to be more challenging and if we were going to hit any roadblocks.
Yeah, I mean, that totally makes sense. And the reality is, you don't know what you don't know. And when you're in it, sure, I can explain the whole process to you. But when you're in it, the emotions are there. So not everything is being received, right? You might just be
Mhm.
getting every other item. Linz, did you have something you wanted to add?
I agree with all of that. Just like have a good team and they'll walk you through it because Julie told me everything. away, really. And Brittany, my loan officer, was also great.
Mhm. Yeah. And let me say this. If anyone listening who's a future home buyer, if you are not getting responses from your agent and they're not seeming to have a heart of a teacher, then go somewhere else. This is your money. This is really important. It's a special moment in your life, and you need to understand the process. And you should feel that you can ask any question you have. You are not bothering that person. And if you are, then you're with the wrong person.
Right. There's millions of them out there. Lucky to try. And because of responsiveness and like any hour and just her willingness to teach is why I, stuck with her, of course. And just she recommended me to everyone, and I trust Julie's judgment so much. So
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
have a good
It's not it's not the Julie hour, I promise. What about you?
Trying to think of something that hasn't been said because, like, like everybody's saying, like, you don't know what you don't know. So, um, talking about the main steps of home buying, I think is something that that would begin good to know at the beginning. I think I would go back, like, if I could talk to my past self, I'd um maybe just warn her about how, like, emotional it
Mm,
is. Um, you know, not that my process or of home buying was particularly, like, difficult. We didn't really hit any unexpected hurdles, but still, I was really, I was up here, like, stressed, anxious about, getting one step done, what the results of the appraisal or the inspection would be. Just, I'm a nervous sort. I definitely admit to that. So I think knowing what the main steps are and just saying, like, Kobe, take a deep breath, like, everything will fall into place, or things will be what they are. And you can only react to you know uh just like you can only react in some cases to, like, you know what the inspection results are, or like what the appraisal is. So just to, like, calm down, take a deep breath.
well, and with that in mind, the reality is, if it's meant to be, then it will be. Otherwise, there's a magnificent property waiting around the corner a few months from now or something, right? There's always going to be another home.
totally. It was
What's
a roller for
Yeah.
me,
Yeah. And it is. It can be.
all of it.
What surprised you guys the most about the process? Whether positive or negative doesn't really matter. And Liv, it applies to you too. Like, so for you, you're just starting out and viewing properties. Like, this is a big year for you.
I'll have someone else go first. I gotta think about this.
Oh yeah, no problem. And if you don't have something, that's fine too, right? There's no wrong answer.
I'll think of
Maybe it
something.
just means y'all had a great agent.
I mean, I would say, at the, right now, nothing's coming to mind, just because I completely trusted you you know, to to guide us in the home buying process. And you were always, saying, okay, here are the next steps. Here, here's what's in store. So didn't really feel like there were any surprises as far as the process, because you prepared this well.
I appreciate that.
Mm.
Mel, had you
Going
worked with any other agents before we got connected? Or no?
Um, I did. Yeah, I worked with I only
No
met her
names.
one. Okay. I met another agent before you, and she was only licensed in New Hampshire, but I was looking in
Mhm.
New Hampshire and Maine, so she connected me with you.
Got you.
Yeah, and that's how
That's
we
right.
that's how we met. Yeah.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
yeah.
I would say something that surprised me was how part of the lending and how the interest rates are so um, how they directly affect your mortgage and your down payment, and just the lending process. And so even if you get an appraisal or a quote, um, those numbers can change. Hopefully not a lot by the time you get to the closing table, but that was something I was surprised to encounter.
Yeah, you were in it right when the rates started to kind of go crazy.
Right.
Yeah, the
Yeah. And luckily I was able to just by really pure luck. It's like I was able to lock down a very good rate. Um, but then as watching as the months go by, of what, I could have been paying. I'm glad we ended up purchasing when we did.
I think I was kind of surprised by how long the closing process is. I didn't realize that it takes months.
Yeah, I thought
Um,
quick.
Me too. I thought it was just like, congratulations, you got your home, and then
here's your
we're
keys.
done. And that is absolutely not how it goes.
Well,
Um,
different for
yeah,
everybody.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. And I think the other thing that was kind of a challenge for me was I was having issues with the home insurance when I bought the
Mm-hmm.
house, and I think that was something that I didn't I was kind of comparing because I've never had home insurance before. I was kind of comparing home insurance to like car insurance. But home insurance is a little more stringent for sure. They look at your house a lot closer than a car insurance company would look at your car. So that was a bit
Mm.
of a
Yeah, good
challenge for
point.
sure.
I mean, all these things are just things that I didn't know. I think that's the most surprising part, like just how much I didn't know, and the fact that anyone goes through this process without a real estate agent as a mom, because I don't even know where I would start.
It's a lot. It's a lot of learning
Mhm.
every step of the way, for sure.
And then once you own a home, because three of you now know this, then you start learning a whole bunch of other stuff that you didn't know.
Oh yeah.
Repairs and
But
remodels. Kobe just has started quite a large remodel on her home, so definitely all new territory there.
which is probably so expensive with the cost. Can't do one without at least $100. I'm like buying little things, and it's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, Mel's done a lot at her property, that's for sure.
We tried. We did as much as we could when we first moved in. Um, yeah, you saw that shag carpet.
Mhm. Mhm.
That had to
Yeah.
go. That was the first to go.
Yeah, it's been fun to
But yeah,
watch the pictures on Facebook.
yeah, yeah.
The
But
transformation.
it definitely feels like we've done a lot of like DIY stuff, just things that we can tackle on our own.
Mm,
Um, but it's nice when you can start making those like cosmetic changes to your house, even if they're minor, because it makes your house kind of feel like yours. So it
yeah.
doesn't feel like
Yeah.
somebody else's house that you bought anymore. It starts to feel like your own home.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. It's just part of it. It's fun and you've worked hard, and here you are. Homeowners. And one homeowner to be. I'm
Mm,
predicting this year.
I would hope so.
That
Yeah.
Well, I really thank you guys for being here. Does anyone have any last bits of advice, either for the first time home buyer or for a new agent or even a seasoned agent as to how they could better help guide a first time home buyer?
just be patient and kind, and know that this is me talking to an agent. Yeah, just know that they're new to it and beginner's mindset and all of that. And you, as the buyer, trust the process and the universe, and what is meant to be will be.
I think it'd be
Love
really
that.
nice if they went over the process before you started, so that way they're not like hit with another like roadblock, kind of like I think Lindsay said earlier, because I still am like a little confused on it.
I
Well,
There's a possibility like that you can, get it offer accepted, going through the process, and then
Right.
wait on the appraisal. You have to wait on all of these are what ifs to actually getting the
mm-hmm.
weeks of appraisals take a few weeks or a month sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, good point.
I would say, for the buyer, or my my great advice, for other buyers, and first time buyers is don't be afraid to like shop around, or
Mm.
and that applies to like your lender, even to your real estate agent. If you guys aren't a good fit, or you're not getting the support you need, um, don't be afraid to find a different agent. um, so, and if the house doesn't feel right, or there's some hesitation, um, just have like Lindsay said, having the patience and knowing, in time it'll work out, or the right place for you will come. So, yeah, so shop around, and yeah, definitely the patience.
Yeah. Mel?
Um, I agree. To um, definitely like kind of don't settle for a property, or don't settle um for pretty much anything in the whole process. Like if something seems like it's not working,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of goes back to what you were saying before. Like there will be another property. Like that's not the only house that's out there. Um, but I think it's such a huge life event buying a house. You definitely want to make sure that you don't settle. You want to make sure that you find something that you actually want and that's going to work for you.
Yeah, I love that. I really I appreciate all of you for trusting me with your really, really, really important and special journey. It means a lot to me. I never take that for granted. And I super appreciate you being here and being willing to share with our listeners. I think we're going to help a lot of people. And just imagine if, however many months ago, you happened upon this podcast, right? Like, what would that have done for you? So, bravo, girls. Thank you for doing this. And listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't be shy about reaching out with your questions. And, if there's other topics you want us to handle, we are on it. Find us on all the socials at Real AF Program. And as always, keep it real as fuck. Make sure you subscribe to our Spotify channel so you get updated every time we drop a new podcast. And check out our website at realafprogram.com.